Welcome to Behind the Mic, the deep dive behind radio theology. Here are your hosts, Darren Earlywine, Lisa Graff, and Ryan Allward.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Mic, the spiritual deep dive episode of radio theology. Pastor Daron Earlywine here with Ryan and Lisa. And guys, man, oh man, talking about 7th grade this week. Gosh. The deep issue was the lie we all believe at some point in our life, and probably comes in waves, may be core for you. There are 3 core lies. We've actually talked about this before. They are, I am what others think of me. I am what I achieve, and I am what I have.
Yeah.
These are the core lies that drive us to dysfunction in our life. One of them is your core lie that you believe the most, but we all dabble with in different seasons, each one of them. The one we focused on this week was that I am what others think of me, and there is no season of life that this happens more aggressively than junior high school.
Oh, just talking about it, like as we were planning the show and having these conversations, it was like I was having physical reactions to all of that.
That's legit. Like when you remember trauma, your body
relives it, right?
Yeah, relives it.
Yeah. Your brain doesn't know the difference between your trauma and your memory of trauma.
Yeah.
Well, and Ryan, you had. Since you live here, grew up, well, I guess where'd you go to junior high at?
HSC Junior High, which is now some other name, but the building is still there.
So you were local when you went, and your parents live here. So you have had recent access to your junior high pictures. You had them on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where mine are. If I could find them, like I know that summer, I lived in Arizona. That summer I played football, and I was like, I got to get a flat top because it's too hot. And I probably, the way my brain works, I probably saw a movie or a picture of somebody with a flat top. I'm like, that guy looks cool.
Like Dolph Lundgren, some Rocky or something.
Probably actually Val Kilmer from Top Gun.
Top Gun, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho.
Merlin, was that his name in Top Gun?
His name was Iceman.
Iceman. Who was Merlin?
Merlin was
one of
the other guys.
Oh, there was.
Goose Maverick,
Iceman.
Iceman.
Ice and Hollywood. No. Maybe Merlin might have been Iceman's.
Merlin was an old wizard in the tale of
King
Arthur.
Only
was
you
his
had
co-pilot.
a Google machine to figure this out.
Merlin, Top Gun.
Keep us posted, Ryan.
Actor.
Anyway, I got the flat top. It looked good, but I let it grow out. Well, in 7th grade, I don't know how to use hair product correctly.
No one does.
My hair stands on end. It just sticks up. People go, why do you have your hair like that? Well, because I just gave up eventually. It was like, it's going to stick up. Let me try to do something cool with it. Didn't know how to do it then. I had barely had. I can just see my 7th grade picture. It's like my eyebrows had somehow gotten bleached out in the summer, so I looked like I had no eyebrows. My hair's a big fuzz ball of poof, like white guy afro.
Okay.
Oh, it's terrible. It's just a bad season. Everything's changing, but in different So your ears start to get bigger, but then your face isn't. Then your nose gets big, but everything else. Then all of a sudden, acne shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Who was Merlin, Ryan?
Thank you for
I saw that you figured it out.
Merlin was Maverick, a.k.a. Tom Cruise's co-pilot after Goose died.
Ah, yes.
And they were both instructors at the Top Gun school. This moment of randomness brought to you by us right now.
Right.
Top Gun 2 is coming out.
Oh, it's coming out.
Yeah, the trailer looks really good.
I can't wait.
I feel like the trailer might be the best part of the movie, though. Like it's like 30 seconds of hype, and then I don't know.
I don't care. I'm so stoked for it.
Does Goose come back? Like,
no, it's
back
Goose's son.
Dead. Oh, his son.
Gosling. His full name is Ryan.
Wow.
Gosling.
I'd watch that.
See, like this.
They
moment
better
right
make
here.
his call sign Gosling. If they don't,
What I think is
demand your money back.
Ryan's humor is so good and witty.
Yes.
But like, your humor maybe didn't work well in junior high because it's smart.
Maybe.
It's smart and witty. And if you're smart and witty, your other buddies are stupid in 7th
God.
grade. And so you can't even you're like, what you're so good at it. Like, even in 7th grade, you couldn't really be good at it because people couldn't get that you're good at those things. Like, It's so hard to win, but it's probably that first step where you're trying to figure out who the heck am I?
Yeah.
Because I'm not a little kid anymore.
No.
Yeah.
It's like social Darwinism at its finest. Comes out in junior high.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you are the strongest and most attractive on both sides.
Oh.
Okay. There's the alpha male. There's the alpha female. All the rest
And
of
about
us.
100 down the list, I'm around there somewhere.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Just literally making out with my pillow
Yes.
at night. Yeah. Good luck.
Oh my gosh. No,
I didn't make out with my pillow.
likely story.
I didn't. I can go on record.
Oh my
and say
gosh.
that.
Well, we joke about this, and I've come to lovingly embrace it in myself that awkward is my specialty.
It is.
I live it all the live long day, right? No one can live life like I do, right? Because of I don't know how it keeps happening to me, right? That started a long time ago. It's not like I just stumbled into this awkwardness.
Yeah.
So in a season where you're already awkward,
Yes.
just
You
to
were just
hype
doubling
on,
down on it.
I doubled down on the awkward. So it was very challenging for me.
Just everyone, like, looking back at the pictures, it's like, what would you even tell your 7th grade self? And would you even know to listen at 7th grade?
No.
When
No,
we're all
you
just
wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. That's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm raising a 7th grader. I've already raised one. I've gotten one to freshman year.
Whew.
Ooh, he survived.
Survived. And he's doing pretty well. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this one's different. He's not the same. Not
Yeah.
the same person.
Yeah.
He's better socially than the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird because like we'll go out to, like Ryan took my son Ty out for lunch.
It was a delicious, delightful conversation and quesadilla.
So I'm trying to surround him with mentors during this year of life, 13th year, right? But it's like Ryan, you said, one of the things you said right off the bat, you're like, the expectation was a little bit higher than the reality.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'll take Ty out for coffee or for breakfast, maybe once a month or so, and I go like, we're gonna have a great father-son time. We're gonna connect,
Right.
and then we get there and like he just starts doing 7th grade stuff. Where I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about. I don't know if you're even here.
Right.
Right.
It's literally we could be talking about something serious, and the next moment he's just there is no linear processing.
It will not make sense.
No.
Yes.
And then he'll just do weird stuff now. Like he's doing this thing where he smacks his hands together, like sitting on the couch with the family the other day. I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. I'm sure he doesn't. And he's just doing this thing where he's flopping his hands and flicking them and like making noises on his leg. And my wife and I and Cole, our oldest son, we look at him. We're not very compassionate to each other in the house. We're like,
There's an
what
admission.
the freak are you doing? Like what is that? And he, the look on his face is genuinely like,
Yeah.
I also don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my,
don't know
my
what
brain
I'm-
told me to do it, I guess.
I'm making weird noises and doing things with my body. I'm not sure why. I can't explain it. It's just happening.
That is adolescence.
That's
That is it. Oh my gosh.
Just everybody's got the awkwardness of like just a baby giraffe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Except the two people who seem like they've got it all figured out in
Yes.
junior high.
Yes.
And they've just got it going for them.
I just wish you could tell
Dang
people
it.
like what's funny is there's always there's the big kid that already has the mustache and the leg hair, and you think he's got it figured out. But like I have one of my friends, their kid was
and the leg hair.
their kid was the alpha male mustache
Yeah.
leg hair kid.
Yeah.
You know what he was terrified of?
Having the mustache and
The
leg
mustache.
hair.
Like everybody's like, dude, he's got leg hair. And I have a friend who their son literally wouldn't wear shorts
Oh.
for the entire year.
Wow.
Because he was so cognizant of and embarrassed of
Wow.
the fact that he had curly man, like real leg hair.
Yeah.
So it's like whether you're on the top of the totem pole
Yes.
or the bottom, you're just completely destroyed
Yes.
by the lie that I am what other people think of me.
It's a slow burn for realizing that it's a lie, too. At least it has been in my scenario. The alpha male at Hamilton Southeastern Junior High approached me on the dance floor of a friend's wedding when we were probably then like 28.
Okay.
And this was the dude whose approval and acceptance, like all of us, not just me, but
Yeah.
all of us, the select few, the inner circle had. But the rest of us were just like, man, if we can just crack into that circle, we've made it.
Yeah.
And he said something just like so intentional to me on the dance floor of a friend's wedding, however many years later. And I was like, wait a second, hold the phone. It was like the exact same words that 12-year-old me would have been like, take me, Lord, I'm good.
Man.
Here we go.
Like something improving, like, hey, you're doing a good job, man.
Yeah, like I'm really. He used the pronoun we.
Oh, boy.
We're all really proud of you and my friend Mike and what we were doing in music at the time. He's like, man, we're just really proud of you guys, and like that's really cool, man. And I'm like, hold the phone. So on my face, I think I was keeping pretty cool and calm and collected.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, thanks, man, that's really cool. But in my mind, I was like, what is happening right now?
7th grade, you was giving yourself high fives.
Yeah, right. Alone in my room, butt cut,
We had
flannel shirt, jeans from Structure,
Oh, my
Structure.
God.
Airwalks.
Yeah.
we had talked about this week that we had like we're still having these moments.
Yeah.
Like we were all at a friend's birthday party last week, and like at least you told a story on the air about like the work up to go. Ryan, you and I joked about the fact that it's like I'm out there living my best life, being stupid, dancing.
Yeah.
Which is actually a role reversal. No, actually, that's a lie. Because I remember in junior high, I was like DJing one of the dances, and I thought I was so awesome. I was like, let's get on the dance floor. I was getting everybody hyped. So I'm still doing the same stuff.
Yeah, you DJ your son's parties.
That's true. I'm living my best life as a
41?
Enough. 40 enough.
40.
But you and I had a conversation at
42?
the party
Wow,
where you were chilling in the back, and I'm like, dude, who
Yeah.
cares? What? Look at our peanut gallery.
Yeah.
These people, who cares? Let's just whatever. But you said you were at certain moments transported back to a junior high party of like I don't go out there and dance. That's not my job.
Not wired for dances. If it's a dance party with my daughter and son and wife in our kitchen,
Yes.
I'm
Nailed
down.
it.
Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been wired for dances unless it's like the homecoming dance. Boys to Men is on, and Sarah Bennett and I are slow dancing, circa 96.
Here we go.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to put myself above you guys because I get stuck in this all the time. Like, sure, I dance at some dumb party,
Yeah.
but we've talked about this. Lisa, your thing is like awkward, your specialty.
Yeah.
My goal in life, like I don't do embarrassed.
Right.
There's my phrase. Because I care what other people think of me.
Yes.
There's times you tell a story and I think that'd be it for me.
Yeah.
I would try to find a rocket ship and go to a different planet.
Right.
Like I couldn't do your life.
Yeah.
It's all motivated by the same lies.
Right.
Like I am what others think of me, and if I do dumb things or be perceived as dumb or uncool or whatever, and it's like I would say, my observation of life is most people are unbelievably unaware of how they're perceived or what's driving their life.
Right.
Most people just do life.
Yeah.
They don't think real deeply about it. That's why most people make the same mistakes over and over and over again because they haven't stopped to think, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To get curious.
Right.
We talk about that in the show. We want you to embrace curiosity. We want you to embrace self-compassion. We want you to go on an inward journey and discover who God's created you to be so you get out of these cycles that bring destruction and pain to your life.
Yeah.
And chasing down that lie and trying to live it, that I am what others think of me, man, oh man, it's everywhere. But I don't think most people know what's motivating them.
No, for sure not. But if we're talking about the dance thing, like my thing was like my outfit was the big thing. Like I already knew like I'm coming alive on the dance floor. It is one of my things. It's where I don't care about anything or anybody. Like I'm living my best life. I don't even care if I look good when I'm doing it. Like sometimes you look really stupid when you dance and I don't care. But it was the getting dressed and getting ready to go and that whole thing. But I had to like, here's how you do it. Here's how you break out of this. This is what I had to do. What if I wore an ugly shirt that maybe I liked it, but maybe someone else at the party didn't like the shirt? Okay, what's the worst case scenario? They don't like my shirt, but they probably don't tell me because they're all really nice people. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Maybe they go tell someone and they say, oh, look at how ugly her shirt is. That's the worst case scenario. Who cares, right? But I had myself like wrapped around the axle like, I need to just show up. Lord have mercy. As a 35-year-old, so we're still working it out.
It's still there. And we kind of set this on the show and anchored it in the idea of that it really just, the truth is that you are who God says that you are.
Yeah.
And what I want to try to do, if we can, for just a few minutes, is kind of start to unpack that out of a cool little bumper sticker thing.
Yeah.
Because bottom line, if you're like, okay, cool, guys, but God doesn't say anything to me. Like, I have not had God show up and be like, hey, let me sit you down and let you know who you are.
Yeah.
So how do what does that even mean? I am who God says that I am.
Right.
And how does that make a difference to a 35-year-old woman that's trying to actually show up and be accepted at a dance?
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Or for me, like all the scenarios that we can unpack, how does that actually connect? And I think part of it is seated in the fact that God doesn't have to speak to you audibly every day because he's already spoken his word through the Bible.
Yeah.
And when you jump in there and let that be the beginning place of truth to form your identity, you come to understand there is a ton that God has said about you.
Yeah.
Is you don't have to seek approval because he already approves of you. Like there's a Bible verse that says that we love because we have been first loved. Mm-hmm. And if there's any more of a dangerous and scary 7th grade environment, or maybe 8th grade, the first time you told a boyfriend or girlfriend that you love them, I mean, if the first day of 7th grade was bad, the next worst day was when you told a teenage love person, I think I love you.
Yeah, that's about how it went.
Unbelievably terrifying.
Yeah.
Because what were you afraid they were going to say?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're cool.
Oh.
I like hanging out with you
Yeah.
sometimes.
Subtext, I reject you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool thing of God saying, hey, I want you to start from a place of security and approval.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's cool if you want to tell me you love me, but I want you to know I've already taken care of it. Like I told you first. He went first.
Yeah.
He went first in all of the things he'd go first in. First in telling us he loved us. First in creating us in love. First dying for us. Like all the things he did first to say, listen, this is not going to be a game where you got to figure out your worth or if your value is actually in other people's opinions, because the absolute authority on the planet is like, thumbs up. I love you. I accept you. You belong.
Yeah.
And that is something that you can feel, but I think the first step is you have to actually believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that what the Bible says about me is true, and I believe it more than I believe my emotions about whether or not people like me.
That's so hard. It's so hard in the moment. Because we're making up stories. Like our minds are constantly making up stories about what we think is actually going on. And I go to worst case scenario most of the time first, and then I have to backtrack, rein myself in, replace the lie with the truth and that whole deal. But and as someone who's heavily guided by her emotions, it's extra challenging.
Yeah, the emotions will take you off the freaking rails.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you mix that lie in with a nice heap of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your processing, I have things that pop into my brain, and then I feel them.
Mm-hmm.
Then
They must be real.
they must be real.
Yeah.
And I must be my thoughts and my emotions. Therefore, this is truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going, oh my gosh, that is me all the time, you have just identified
Yes.
what may be causing issues in your relationship.
Right. And you know what else could be? What I like to add like a double scoop on that.
Yeah.
So it's like the thought pops into my mind. I feel it. I think it's truth. And then I somehow know it's true. It's not true or whatever. And I pile the shame on for even feeling that way in the first place. Like I shouldn't even be feeling the things that I'm feeling. And so like it's just it's a double
So you
double
have
scoop.
the lie and then a double whammy of shooting on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll do it.
Shoulding.
Which then kickstarts shame.
Oh yeah.
Which shame, I believe Brene Brown talks about, is the fear of disconnection,
Yes.
which is what all this is.
Yep.
Right? I'm not going to be accepted. I am what other people. If I believe the lie that I am what people think of me, and I'm rejected, now I have. It's not the fear of disconnection. It is now I am disconnected.
Right.
So now I am a personification of shame.
Right. Oh, it's the worst.
And so you have to stop and think about this for a minute of like, man, what am I doing? Because we do, whether it's in how you dress or the car you think you need to drive or the job you think you should have or the neighborhood you think you should live in. Go back and think to yourself, like, what is really motivating this? Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't start from the inside out of going, if I were to stop and go, I have no one to please because God is absolutely pleased with me and he is real and he is alive and he is present in my life and he's created me on purpose and for a purpose and he's already loved me. If I start from this place as truth inside and then begin to feel that, what would my next action be? And if that's not in line with what you were thinking, you may need to stop back and go, I think maybe I'm allowing this lie to drive my life.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's necessary.
Yes.
So if we can get to that point, we know that truth. How do we, what have you guys found as maybe a successful way to continue to remind yourself of that truth?
That's a really good question. Lately, I've been trying to just intentionally, not necessarily start my day. That's always been a struggle for me. Like I don't know. I saw my parents both have their own quiet time. Still, I know for a fact that both of them did today. Like in the morning, cup of coffee, still dark outside. I never got that gene. I just didn't. I know it sounds like an excuse, but I just didn't. But so it's not for me at the beginning of my day. But if I'm in my car, rarely am I listening to the music on the radio. But I'll just try to put the Bible app on and just staying in the Word, and just like when I'm feeling prompted that I need to / want to pray, just doing it.
Yeah,
like that to me is becoming more behavioral, I would say, lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters where it happens. I mean, basically what you just said is I actively stay in a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Like reminding myself of what he has already said and how that applies. Like it's just, it doesn't matter if it's morning, noon, night, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, this is a regular part of my life.
Yeah.
I asked my sons yesterday, I said, guys, name 3 of your favorite rappers. They're like, well, this guy. I was like, cool. Like, what about you? And I'm talking to 2 of my boys, my 2 oldest. And I was like, over the past month, would you guys say that you have been in a closer relationship with those dudes or with Jesus?
Ooh.
And they were like,
Hammered down.
Dad juke
they were
right
like,
there.
Those
Strong juke.
those guys. I was like, okay. I was like, here's the deal, guys. I was like, as your dad, I could lay down the law and be like, you can't listen to anything but Christian music. But probably is, chances are you're probably going to anyway, and then we're going to have a battle where you're trying to hide things from me, and it's just not good for our relationship. So I said, I've given you a lot of freedom. I was like, but I've also told you that what you watch and what you listen to and what you read are the 3 things that really make you who you are. And my guess is, I know who you are, and I know who you want to be, and I'm guessing that you probably don't want to become in like 10, 15 years those guys.
Yeah.
I think you really do want to actually become more like Jesus. I said, do you think maybe, what do you think about we like mix in a little more influence from Jesus through what we listen to over the next like month, see what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give that a shot.
I love
Give
that.
that a shot.
That-
But
yeah.
it's trying to get them to understand that it's like, there is a relational element of this, and if you're whatever you're pouring into your brain constantly, like it's shaping it, it's making you who you're becoming.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I don't think it has to, like, who you may never be a morning guy. It's just finding what works for you. There's no textbook of this. Has to happen at whatever works for you. Just be there regularly in the Word, maybe through worship, reminding yourself of what's true.
Yeah. So yeah, two things, but mine was one like that. I am very selective about what I put into my brain, because I have a wild imagination. I'm very creative, super emotional. So as soon as I had Josie, so 5 years ago, I just really started scaling back because things felt more real to me, and so I stopped that and stopped watching a lot of things specifically, and then started pouring into worship music. And so that's what I work out with. That's what's blaring in my house. And it's because there's so many songs about identity. So when I was really in the season of wrestling down what's true about me, there are songs that are taken from scripture that drill that into my mind. So instead of memorizing the scripture, which I think is a good idea, how much more easily do you memorize songs?
Mm-hmm.
And so in those moments, I'm reminded of the songs and can start singing them to myself as a reminder. And then the other thing is that I surround myself with really great people, and I have one 100% person, and I always I go to her probably more often than she wants, but to say, this is what I'm believing. What is true? What can you help me untangle this mess and figure out what's actually going on? And that has been so helpful, because sometimes I am too close to it, too emotional about it, and I don't know, it's so hard. And so it's inviting another person that's really safe and I can trust into that process of going, what's really true about you? What lie am I believing? Can you help me? And then she's always like, oh, I could tell you. And then there we go, and then we launch into a good healing conversation.
Which is great. That process, though, that's terrifying.
Oh, gosh, yes.
To get to the place where you're going to be vulnerable enough to go hey, I'm thinking these things in my brain. Because if you're being driven by a lie, if I am what people think of me, what if the next response is, are you freaking crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you thought things like that. Oh, we can't be friends. Weirdo.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you have to be really selective.
Yeah, very selective. But that's a great thing. If you're saying, what should I pray for? Well, if this is resonating, ask God to begin to guide you to who's that person that can help you be reminded of what's true about you, about what God has already said. And that's the part of why, like going to church. Why should we go to church? Well, oftentimes, if you find a healthy church environment, the things we just said, they actually can exist there.
Yeah.
You have people speaking the truth about who you are. You sing the truth about who God is and who you are because you're connected to him. You might find people that are on this same journey that could walk with you and be that kind of person. Now, you could also find a lot of crazy negative things, right? Yeah. But that's because there's people there.
Right.
You go to any place where you gather a bunch of people, eventually you're going to be like, there's some crazy stuff going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? Because people are here.
Yeah.
Because you're there.
Right.
Right? But that is where that can actually become helpful for you. And that's why we do this episode. That's why we're having this conversation, because we want to be helpful to you. We want to help be a guide to help you discover who God's created you to be. And you know what? If you haven't ever gotten the 5-day Jumpstart to Purpose, you can go to IamBornToBe.com today. We'll send you the 5-day free Jumpstart to Purpose. It's 5 little audio thoughts, 5-minute little thoughts that are going to help you kind of drill down to some basic things about who God's created you to be. And or if you haven't taken the Spiritual DNA workshop yet, or the online course, it is an amazing next step for you to really nail down some things you can say, I know these things are true about me. This is how I connect with God. This is my personality. I know my actual calling and the way that I fulfill that on earth. I know my strengths. I know the natural talents that God has given me. And it helps you take that next step of understanding, here is the passion that drives my life. And you can just check that out at spiritualdna.me. Go check that out this morning. And I think it would really, really help you take some of those next steps. So, listen, thanks so much for listening to this episode. If we can help you, reach out to us on social media on radiotheology.com, or you can email any of us at Lisa, Ryan, or Darren at blackbirdmission.com. And until next time, never forget these 3 things. God's for you, not against you. He's near you, not far from you. He's created you on purpose and for purpose. Have an awesome week. Talk to you next time on Behind the Mic.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Mic. For more episodes, go to radiotheology.com.